Okay, class, today we're going to go over the second part of your study guide. We're going to go over 10 questions. And the 10 questions are all based on this diagram. And AC is parallel to EG, so this line is parallel to that one. And you have a transversal DH cutting through the parallel lines. And if you will remember these three things on the questions, it'll help you tremendously. So when you have parallel lines cut by a transversal, all of your acute angles, the angles less than 90 degrees, are equal. All of your obtuse angles, the angles greater than 90 degrees, are equal. And anytime you have an acute angle with an obtuse, you add them together, it's going to equal 180. So let's go through these questions one at a time, and we'll work through them. Okay, so number one tells us, or it wants us to find the corresponding angle to angle DBC. So let's find angle DBC. Angle DBC is this angle here, and it wants us to find the angle that's corresponding to this angle. Corresponding just means same position. And so if I were to take this intersection and pick it up and put it here, which angle would this one be on top of? And it's going to be this one right here. This is angle BFC, or I'm sorry, angle BFG or angle GFB. Let's look at the answer choices and see. Yeah, this will be angle GFB is corresponding to angle DBC. Okay, number two tells us the measure of angle DBC is 60 degrees. Angle DBC is 60. And it wants us to find the measure of angle HFG. HFG. This one. Okay. So let's remember that all of our acute angles are equal. All of our obtuse angles are equal, and if we take an acute and add it to an obtuse, it's 180. So if this is an acute angle, it wants us to find the obtuse angle. And so we're just going to take this and subtract it from 180. So 180 minus 60 is going to give us 100 degrees. Okay, number three says the measure of angle HFG is 130 degrees. HFG, 130. What is the measure of angle EFB? EFB. EFB here. Alright. Well, this is obtuse. This is also obtuse. So they're equal. These are also vertical angles. So this is also 130 degrees. Okay, for number four, it says angle ABF and GFB are, so ABF is this one, and GFB is this one. So these angles, what would we call them? When we look at our answer choices, we have alternate interior angles, alternate exterior, corresponding, vertical, and same side interior. Okay, so if you see alternate, that means you have angles on opposite sides of your transversal. Same side means they're on the same side of that transversal. Interior means inside the parallel lines, and exterior means outside the parallel lines. And so these two angles would be alternate, and they're inside the parallel line, so alternate interior angles. Number five says angle CBF and GFB are. So angle CBF, this one here, and angle GFB, this one here. Alright, what are we going to call these angles? Well, we look at our answer choices. We have supplementary, complementary, vertical, adjacent, and alternate interior. And so supplementary is two angles that add to 180. Complementary is two angles that add to 90. And so would it be either one of those? So this is acute, this is obtuse. These would be supplementary because you take an acute and add it to an obtuse, it's 180. So number five is supplementary. Number six says if the measure of angle GFH is 13x plus 4 degrees, so let's write that in. GFH is GFH 13x plus 4 degrees. and angle ABD is negative 3 plus 14x. So ABD is negative 3 plus 14x degrees. Alright, so what do we know about these angles? This is an obtuse, this is an obtuse, so I know that this equals this. So let's write that equation. 13x plus 4 equals negative 3 plus 14x. Okay, now let's solve the equation. You have x variables on opposite ends of the equal sign, so let's get our x variables together. And I always recommend chunking the smaller x value over. That way you always end up with a positive x value. So this is the smaller one. Let's chunk it over here, and let's get our numbers together, or constants. Okay, so now I have this positive 14x, and now this becomes a negative 13x. I have positive 4 over here, and then I'm moving a negative 3. It's going to become a positive 3. Now let's combine our terms. 4 and 3 is 7. 14x minus 13x is 1x, or just x. Okay, so what does the question want to know? What is the value of x? Okay, so we can stop here. Okay, number 7, the measure of angle FBC is 15x plus 10. So let's write that. FBC is 15x plus 10. And angle BFE is 16x plus 4. BFE, 16x plus 4. What do we know about these two angles? Well, this is obtuse, this is obtuse, so they're equal. So let's write the equation. Now let's solve it. Take your smaller x over, get your numbers together. So this will be 16x minus 15x will be just x. And we have 10 minus 4 gives me 6. Okay, so I know x equals 6. What does the question want to know? What is the measure of angle DBC? Okay, so in order to find that, if I knew what this obtuse angle was, then we could know what the acute angle is, because they add to be 180. So let's plug in our x to one of these. It doesn't matter. Let's plug it in here and see what the actual measure of the angle is. Okay, so plugging in our x value here, 15 times 6 plus 10, that gives me 90 plus 10 is 100 degrees. Is this angle. Angle FBC is 100 degrees. So if this is 100, the question wants to know what is the measure of angle DBC. If this is 100, these are supplementary angles, so 180 minus 100 is going to give me 80 degrees. Okay, 8, the measure of angle BFG is 5x minus 18. BFG, 5x minus 18. And CBF is 4x plus 45. CBF, 4x plus 45. What do we know about these two angles? Well, I know this is acute, that's obtuse. We add them together, it's going to equal 180. So that's what we need to write out. 5x minus 18 plus that angle, 4x plus 45, is going to equal 180. Now let's solve this equation. Okay, so if we look on the left side, we have like terms we can put together. We have a positive 5x, a positive 4x, that gives me 9x. And we have a positive 45 and a negative 18. That's going to give me 27 plus 27 equals 180. Alright, our x variable is positive. Let's leave it here and let's chunk over the 27. So I have 9x equals 180 minus the 27 gives me 153. Alright, let's divide both sides by 9. See what we get. X equals 17. What's the question asking for? what is the value of x? So we can stop here. X is 17. Okay, number 9, angle DBC is 2x plus 8. And angle GFH is 6x plus 12. What do we know about these two angles? This is acute, this is obtuse, so they add to be 180. So let's write that out and solve for x. Alright, combining our like terms, we have positive 6x, positive 2x is positive 8x. We have positive 12, positive 8 gives me positive 20, equals 180. Let's throw our number over. So 8x equals 180 minus the 20 gives me 160. Divide by 8. X is going to be 20. Alright. So x is 20. What is the question asking for? It's asking for the measure of angle ABF. Angle ABF. So this angle. Well, if I know what this acute angle is, it's vertical with that one, so it'll be the same. So let's plug in our x value here and see what we get. Okay, so plugging in our x value here, 2 times 20 plus 8 gives me 40, plus 8 gives me 48. So this is 48 degrees. This one also is 48 degrees. Okay, our last one, if the measure of ABD is 6x plus 5, and the measure of GFH is 8x minus 25. Alright, so what do we know about this angle and this one? They're both obtuse, so they're going to equal. So let's set them equal. 6x plus 5 equals 8x minus 25. Okay. Let's get our x terms to one side. Let's chunk the smaller one over. And we'll chunk this negative 25 over. So we'll have 8x minus 6x gives me 2x, and we'll have a positive 5 plus 25 gives me 30. Divide by 2, x equals 15. What does the question want to know? The question wants to know what is the measure of angle FBC? FBC, this one. Well, if I know that one, then we know that one. It's vertical. So let's plug in our x value here. So 6 times 15 plus 5, it's going to be 90 plus 5 gives me 95 degrees. So if this one's 95, this one's 95.